Welcome to the Italian Grape Geek podcast. Join us as we explore personal stories of travel and tasting with Italy's must-know grape varietals. Chart your own course with My Italian Grape Geek Journal, your personal tasting companion to accompany the series. Available now on Amazon. With thanks to Colangelo and Partners for their generous support with this project.
Welcome to the Italian Wine Podcast. I'm Cynthia Chaplin, and this is Voices. Every Wednesday, I will be sharing conversations with international wine industry professionals, discussing issues in diversity, equity, and inclusion through their personal experiences working in the field of wine. If you enjoy the show, please subscribe and rate our show wherever you get your pods. Hello and welcome to Voices. This is Cynthia Chaplin, and today I'm so happy to welcome Nixon Munga. Nixon's from Nairobi in Kenya, and he's an architect by training and a wine lover by choice. He's the recipient of the Berlucchi Scholarship for the Vinitaly International Academy Italian Wine Ambassador flagship course, which will begin next week here in Verona on April 4th. So thank you for taking the time away from your studies, Nixon, to come and talk to me today. I really appreciate it.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for having me. It's wonderful to, get to finally meet the people behind the course and have a chat.
Well, it's like we're all the Wizard of Oz. You get a million emails from us, and then you finally meet us in person.
Well, I've heard a lot about you from some of my mates in the country, and really good things. So I'm very sure that I will have a fantastic time in Verona.
I'm glad things are being said that are good about me. That's nice to hear. But yes, you'll love Verona. You're going to have a great time. I guarantee that. No problem at all. So let's talk a little bit about this and how you got involved, because I know you're an architect and a furniture designer. And what on earth got you into wine? How did this new journey into wine start for you?
I mean, right now it's been a while. I would say I started out as a wine lover. I really do love cooking. If you check out my Instagram at Wine Architect, all the posts were mostly about food and, oh, I cooked this. And then when I got into campus, I was like, oh, food goes well with wine. And so I started exploring wine, not so seriously of taking it to a professional level or getting to study about it, but just buying something that, and in campus without so much purchasing power, and so most of the time I'll be buying wine that will not be over $15. And then one day I remember there was a time I went to this wine shop and someone recommended the Rioja, and I was like, I was livid about it, but then I picked it up. Then I believe should be February in 2018. We had that wine with a biryani, got biryani, and that was the moment it sparked. I just was like, I have to know about wine.
Oh, that's amazing. I love it when people find their way into the industry through a food and wine pairing, because it does really bring people together, and food should always be involved when you have wine. So that's a fun one. And I love pairing with spicy food. So a biryani and a Rioja sounds great, actually. Um, well, well, you've been working as a sommelier for the past year or so. I'm wondering, how's that going? It's very different from sitting in an architecture studio all day. How are you finding it?
I mean, it's interesting. My first gig, I started under my mentor, one of my mentors who brought me into the industry as now the professional side of it. I believe that was back in 2021. So, going for some testings here and there. Then I decided to get into service and I worked with Movenpick Hotel and Residences in Nairobi, and I was so green in service. So you can imagine into going into the floor and you're meeting all these guests and you don't know a thing about service. And it was real crazy for the first 1 month, but then you get the gist of it and then you go with the flow. And then after a while, you're like, oh, this is quite nice. So I did that for about a year, which was a really rewarding time when I saw the results of what we achieved with the wine list and even with the beverage sales in total. but also more importantly for me was, you know, um, getting to educate the staff and insisting on a very rigorous beverage training. So then after that, then right now, because I have my architecture degree the last year in architecture school, which is really crazy. So I stopped that, and right now I'm consulting. So that allows me to juggle between wine and school.
Ah, very good plan. Very good plan. It's difficult to leap right into wine right away and have that be a career that can put food on your table. So very good plan to keep both things going. I'm wondering, what's the wine scene like in Nairobi these days? Who's tasting, who's buying, what are the most popular wines in Kenya right now?
The most popular wines, I would say mostly the fruity style of wine, I would say. So, say for example, I know Mucho Mas, for example. Mucho Mas is one that has been flying off the shelves because it's one that is easily approachable, as well as a Malbec, I believe. Yeah, there's a Malbec in the market that is also flying off the shelf. So generally, looking at the trend is more of fruity introductory style of wines. But then comparing to the wine scene about 7 years ago, you can imagine 7 years ago, WSET did not have an APP in Nairobi, but then we have one now. People are getting more into wine, they're seeking out the education. So it's one that is really vibrant and growing. And just in January, in January, at the end of January, when we had Gambero Rosso do their first roadshow in Nairobi, that was one of the biggest events with a huge turnout. So it's very vibrant. People are really open to learning, and people are open to testing new wines.
So who's drinking wine in Nairobi? Is it young people, old people, men, women, everybody? Fill us in.
Mostly, I would say, um, in terms of ratio of females to males, I would say females it will be about 70 and males about 30%. There's still quite a culture where, you know, to some extent, wine is frowned upon. If you're drinking wine and you're a man, you'd be like, oh, you should be having whiskey or a spirit. But people are getting there. Then, in terms of age gaps, the young people, not so much, because most of the time I used to be so disappointed when I would go to a testing and find that I'm the youngest. At least that has changed in the last 1 year. So I'll say the age will be between somewhere about 27 upwards, and then there's the connoisseurs who know their wines who will ask you, I want a Mago, or tell you that I want a Barolo, or someone really surprised me and tells ask me that, do you have a nice Pasito um, from Sardinia? And I'm like, oh, you know your wines. So there's all that melting pot of everyone who is having what they want.
That's exciting. It's good to know when a new sort of emerging market for wine is coming out. How much Italian wine do you get in Kenya?
Um, Italian wine, I would say about should be in terms of figures. I don't have it right off my head, but I'll say it will rank fourth because I know South Africa, obviously, because it's closer to Kenya. That is the first. But then more uniquely is the Italian culture that is in Kenya, because when you go to the Kenyan coast, you find there's, a melting pot of intermarriages, and you have intermixing of Swahili and Italian culture. So right in the coast is something that is real up there, and you find a lot of consumption of Italian wines. Then in Nairobi, more and more I see restaurants opening with purely Italian wine lists, purely Italian or Mediterranean inspired cuisines. And so it's really opening up. And just going back to the Gambero Rosso Roadshow, which was the biggest that Kenya's ever had, it just shows you the hunger that um, the Kenyans have for Italian wines, especially I would say wines from the south, because as I mentioned, wines that are easily approachable. So I think it's one that can do really well in the market.
Are you enjoying this podcast? Don't forget to visit our YouTube channel, Mama Jumbo Shrimp, for fascinating videos covering Stevie Kim and her travels across Italy and beyond, meeting winemakers, eating local foods, and taking in the scenery. Now, back to the show.
Well, that's very exciting. I guess we have to say Kenya's thirsty for Italian wine. So that is good to know. And that sort of brings me around to the Vinitaly International Academy Italian Wine Ambassador course. And how did you find out about the program, and what inspired you to apply for the course?
I found out about the program from Victoria. Obviously, you'd know Victoria. She says nice things about you.
I know Victoria very well. I send her a big hug.
So Victoria is one of my mentors as well, and yeah, we were having a chat one day, and she goes like, if you're really interested in Italian wines or just expanding your wine repertoire, then that is a course that I can explore. And um, doing this, having this chat with you today, and after reading through the books, I'm just like, I did not know anything about Italian wines. Now I know a little bit. So it's something that is, I would tell anyone, if you're interested in Italian wines, you have to do the course. So I found about it through my mentor, and for me, I always seek out opportunities to learn, because in this life, you never stop learning.
Well, you're the perfect person to receive the Berlucchi Scholarship. I'm excited for you to meet Christina Ziliani, who's the owner of the Berlucchi Winery, when you're here next week. We're all excited to have you. I can see how dedicated you are to your education side of this, and that makes me so happy because I'm an educator too. So I can't wait for you to get here. And you're right. It's a very well known fact that the VIA course is extremely rigorous, and the most in depth Italian wine course in existence at the moment. Um, and you've been studying for a couple of months now. So how are you finding the program? You said you've been reading the books and watching the videos, learning a lot. So how's it going for you?
Um, at first, I have to admit, I felt that it was really challenging. If anything, I felt like I did not know anything about Italian wines. You mentioned, the plethora of grape varieties that you have, and then there's that intertwined with the culture itself, and then you go into the history, the rich and deep history that overlays within the winemaking philosophy. And I'm really finding that I'm learning so much, but then at the same time, it brings me to a point of appreciating wine, the Italian wines, even more, because then I would say, oh, I know about this, or I have an idea about this. So let me see if it's what the book says. So it's been a really interesting journey, quite challenging, because of trying to balance with my schoolwork. But then so far so good. I'm enjoying it.
Good. I'm so glad to hear this. This makes me really happy because the VIA course has been near and dear to my heart for several years now. And I'm an ambassador too, of course. And the book, the new book, the Italian Wine Unplugged 2.0 book that came out last year, of course, won an award. And that book was my baby. So I'm so happy that you're enjoying it. And I wanted to just get back a little bit to the WSET going on in Nairobi. There's one APP there. We have an APP here where I teach as well. And I know you passed your WSET level 3 in October. So I'm wondering what's next for you in wine after the VIA course. Are you going to try for your diploma? What are you planning in wine? What's the goal for you? Tell me the wine dreams of Nixon.
So when when my mentor, my mentor, as I mentioned, Wanjiru, we met through an online sensitization program by Wines of South Africa, and they were doing this series of talking about certain grapes, Chenin Blanc, Cabernet Sauvignon, I believe also there's Cap Classique as well as Pinotage. And all through that those programs, I attended all of them. But then I had not taken any professional certification. And so at the end of it, Wanjiru quips and says that, it's good that you've started early. You can be one of the best in the industry. And so in my mind, I think at some point I'd heard about Master of Wine, and I was like, I want to be Master of Wine. Up until now, I know what it takes to be Master of Wine. Yeah, but then that's still the dream. So I have dreams of getting my diploma, have dreams of going all the way to Master of Wine, because I believe, and even after that, just going on visiting different wine regions and learning, because the beauty about wine for me is that it just has a way of bringing people together around the table with food, and then there's always laughter, and if anything, I don't know the secret to happiness, but I've never been sad at a wine tasting. So yeah, Master of Wine all the way.
I think we should put that on a t-shirt. I don't know the secret to happiness, but I've never been sad at a wine tasting. I really like that. And you have big dreams. I mean, Master of Wine, that's a big dream. We just got our third Master of Wine in Italy. We had our first one in 2022, and then the second one was this summer in 2023. And just last month, Pietro Russo from Donna Fugata in Sicily became the third Italian Master of Wine. So it's not easy to do. It's very difficult, long road. Thank goodness you're young, because that's going to help you out. Everybody says it gets them exhausted. I would love to do it myself, but I think I'm too old.
I do get that a lot. Like, everyone tells me, oh, thank goodness you're young. You've started this when you have no commitments, not crazy bills to pay, so you can go the distance.
Exactly. But I love this about you. You have this big dream, you have goals, you have a plan. I'm going to keep my eye on you. I can't wait to give you a hug when you get here next week. And I'm excited for you to do the course. I'll want to hear what you think about it after you've finished. And hopefully I'll come and see you and Victoria in Kenya pretty soon. So thank you so much for coming on today, Nixon. I really appreciate it. It was so fun to talk to you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. It was really fun. More like chatting with an old friend.
Thank you for listening, and remember to tune in next Wednesday when I'll be chatting with another fascinating guest. Italian Wine Podcast is among the leading wine podcasts in the world, and the only one with a daily show. Tune in every day and discover all our different shows. You can find us at ItalianWinePodcast.com, SoundCloud, Spotify, Himalaya, or wherever you get your pods.